PTC Media, bringing quality scouting podcasts to packs, troops, and crews. Find us on the web at ptcmedia.net.
I'd like to welcome all of you here to the 100th birthday celebration of the Boy Scouts of America. We have a few guests. Mayor Tim O'Driscoll from Sartell, he'll say a few words a little bit later. Our executive, Dave Troy, will say a few words later. He's waving as he's going out the door. And from the national, we have Dave, and Dave, I'm not sure what your last name is, but
Dave Berger, and I'm from Detroit Area Council.
Okay, Dave Berger from the Detroit Area Council, and he's going to give us just a short presentation. You've seen the big van outside, and all these guys running around in kind of purplish shirts. I think they're all from the Michigan area from that same council. So without any further ado, Dave.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking you for welcoming us into the Central Minnesota Council and for your council's enthusiastic leadership and support of the Boy Scouts of America. You've led us through the past century and will lead us into the next century of values. We're here today to treasure the past 100 years of scouting and to ensure that the next 100 years of these values will live on in America. Before we review our first century of scouting history, please allow me to share with you our background. About 6 years ago, a retiring senior district executive from Detroit Area Council, Mr. Frank Mallon, had a vision. He envisioned an ambitious plan to commission a historical mural of scouting's past and to share it with scouts and scouters across this great land of ours. After this mural visits over 300 councils and camps, it will make its way to the National Scouting Museum in Irving, Texas, and be presented to the Boy Scouts of America on its 100th birthday. There are over 150 dedicated volunteers that will have had a hand in this journey, and today we reach out to you to join us in one great scouting brotherhood. We're the 9th of 15 road teams. Our national road team, number 9, includes myself, Don Simo, Bill DeHunt, and a couple of other gentlemen that are out in the parking lot right now. They're selling some patches and murals. That's Ken Mills and Ken Noren. We're honored to be on the trails of America to celebrate and promote the values of scouting. Our mission is to provide and promote the history and accomplishments of the Boy Scouts of America during the last 100 years. Provide by means of artistic murals and centennial patches, promote by visits to every Boy Scout council in the lower 48 states, celebrate the values instilled in young people during the last 100 years, which were developed with education, training, and example through the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Before unveiling the mural, I'd like to point out that we recruited a very talented Eagle Scout artist, Mr. Bill Morrison. Bill, formerly the Detroit Area Council, is currently the art director of Bongo Comics. As an artist for Walt Disney, Bill drew posters for The Little Mermaid, Bambi, Peter Pan, and The Jungle Book. He also had drawn The Simpsons and nearly all of the t-shirts, video games, posters, and toy packaging, and helped with the character design on the new show, Futurama. The purpose of the mural is to depict and highlight the historical figures and values that were part of the Boy Scouts of America movement during our first century and continue to take us into the second. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Don Simo, who will go through our mural and talk about it.
Not used to talking on a microphone. This mural, as Dave said, it depicts the 100th anniversary of Boy Scouts. And on the mural is what the Boy Scouts have been doing for the past 100 years. The founder, Baden Powell, is up in the corner here. And William Boyce, back in probably 1909, was over in England, and he was lost in the fog. And a young lad came up and says, "Can I help you, sir?" and took him back to his hotel. And he asked this lad, "What are you?" And he said, "I'm a Boy Scout." He wanted to pay him some money, and he says, "No, I can't do that. It's not part of our code." So when he got back to the United States, he decided to found an organization like the one he had over in England, and he started the Boy Scouts of America. These are some of the founding fathers of Boy Scouts. This is James West. I think he was a colonel, lieutenant colonel of the Army. This is the first handbook that Boy Scouts used. These are some of the magazines, handbooks, and postage stamps in the early Boy Scouts. I think there's been 3 or 4 additional postage stamps printed with the Boy Scouts on it. This is the National Museum in Irving, Texas for the Boy Scouts. Back in World War I, the Boy Scouts went around and collected peach pits. They were dried by the United States government, ground up, and they were used in the gas mask in World War I to prevent mustard gas and so forth. World War II, they sponsored victory gardens. Another old timer in the Boy Scouts is Dan Beard. Coming across the top, way at the top, up in the corner here, is the religious emblems the boys can earn in Boy Scouts. Across the top and down the side are the badges of ranks that the boys earn in Boy Scouts, and this is the Venture one. It's comparable to the Eagle, Venture Scouts. A lot of people think that this gentleman right here is John Wayne, and that's Wade Phillips. He's the one, the benefactor, donated the Philmont Scout Ranch on that property, and next to him is the granite formation called Tooth of Time. If you've been on the Philmont, you've seen it. 3 branches in the Boy Scouts are the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Venture Scouts. This depicts the National Jamboree just outside of Washington, D.C. and AP Hill, Virginia. 3 of the U.S. presidents are depicted in this. 2 of the presidents were Scouts, 1 is an Eagle Scout. 3 presidents are Ronald Reagan, the Eagle Scout was Gerald Ford, John F. Kennedy was a Scout but only got the first class. This little red and white ribbon around here are the small select group of the national award is called the Silver Buffalo. This young lad, I think his name is William McCool, astronaut, and we heard a story about him yesterday. And he's from Minnesota. He was at scout camp, and a bunch of boys are horsing around as they usually do at scout camp. And what they found is a birch tree leaning over. And what they did is they got on the birch tree, and the other boys pulled it down to the ground, and they released it. And when he got on it, he told the guys to take the tree all the way to the ground. And then he raised his hands in the air. He raised his hands in the air, and he says, "Release it," and he shot him up. So when he got into NASA's space program, they told everybody he's already been into space. Again, here's Bob Hope. He's in the circle. Ronald Reagan. This is Norman Rockwell. He's a well-known illustrator. He did a lot of covers with Boy Scouts on it. This gentleman. I keep messing up his name. That's
which one?
a Whitehead. Edward Whitehead. Detroit Area Council, Eagle Scout, 103 years old. Just a couple months ago, he passed away before his 104th birthday. That's pretty much it. Okay, back to you. Sorry, this mural is on the back of our RV in case you're interested. And if you go out to the site called acenturyofvalues.org, the mural is also there, and there's numbers around the mural. It tells you down in the key below who these people are in case you're interested. Sorry.
Thank you, Don. At this time, I'd like to present our mural, so whoever would like to receive that for your council, if you would please come up. Great. Thank you. On behalf of the Century of Values team, we present this mural in celebration of the shared memories of our past century of Scouting's values. We look forward in the quest to continue making new memories in the next century with you and future generations of Scouts and Scouters to come. Thank you. Also, I have a certificate of appreciation that says, in celebration of the values instilled and developed in young people during the past 100 years with education, training, and example to the Scout oath and law. We'd like to present this to you, Mr. Ignat.
Picture of this.
Okay, at this time, well, as was mentioned, we've got a tent out there that if you would like to purchase a mural, they are available for $75. And we also have these commemorative patches also for $3. Or in packs for you, packs of 8, is it? For $20. Okay, so with... Oh yeah, one last thing, thank you for reminding me. We have a registry out there at the table also, so if everybody would please sign that. That's something that's going to go into the National Scouting Museum at the end of the trip and be on display for everybody to see, and you can sign it and be part of history if you would do that also. With that, I'd like to thank you for all that you do for Scouting, and I'd like to turn the program back over to our host here.
Thank you very much, David. Thanks for the presentation. And now our Mayor of Sartell, Mayor Tim Driscoll, would like to say a few words to all of you.
First of all, I'd like to welcome the folks from the Detroit Council who are with us here today, and hope you enjoy your stay in the central Minnesota area. And the project that you are doing is a very noble project, and I hope that you have safe travels as you continue along the trail bringing Scouting and the murals to everyone across the country. The city of Sartell is very, very privileged to have Scouting as an activity in our community. A number of city projects have been as a result of Eagle Scout projects within our community. Improvements to our parks, improvements to other public areas within our community. As I think about what the Scouts do in central Minnesota, they do those types of projects in Sartell. They do them in our neighboring communities of Sartell, Sauk Rapids, Wake Park, St. Joseph, and beyond. We're very privileged and pleased to have the Scouting office located in Sartell. As I was telling Dave Trahey earlier today, it's now a mistake that the road that you come on to get to the Scouting office is known as the Scout Drive here in the city of Sartell to honor the Scouting activities that take place in our community. As I wrap up my comments today, the other thing that comes to mind is the values that Scouting teaches our young men as they grow up and reach maturity. They take those values to their jobs, to their families, to all of their activities. And Scouting provides a nice core set of values and principles for people. And it's not just the old stereotypical helping walk an old lady across the street, as oftentimes they're depicted in different kinds of things. So again, thank you for inviting me here and allowing me the opportunity to share a few words.
Okay, now for just some brief closing remarks by our Scout exec, Dave Trahey.
Hey, thanks, Royce. I'd like to thank you folks for coming out and joining us with our rib dinner. As you know, the proceeds from this dinner is supporting our 72 Scouts that will be joining or participating in the National Scout Jamboree next July and August. We have 72 Scouts, 12 of our leaders, and they'll be joining 40,000 other Scouts in Virginia for 10 days, and then I think another 3 days in Washington, D.C. So thank you for your support of that activity. Just real quickly, this is the kickoff of our 100th anniversary celebration for the Boy Scouts of America and the Central Minnesota Council. So look for many different celebration activities over the course of the next several months as we continue to celebrate this centennial anniversary. A big time in the Boy Scout movement, but certainly big time activities here for our local council. Again, thank you for being here. Spread the word that scouting's alive and well, and we're looking to have the best September we've ever had in terms of recruiting new Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts to our program. We expect here in the next 2 months to have 1,500 to 1,600 new guys and families join scouting programs, and we're looking forward to that opportunity. Thanks for being here tonight. Appreciate all the help.
Thank you for watching Mural Scouting Productions podcast. Other scouting-related videos can be seen through this podcast by subscribing through iTunes, or by going to ptcmedia.net or feeds2.feedburner.com/Mural Scouting Productions.